all I can do. I know I could do something different, but that's not until I'm, I guess, either confident in what I want to do, or until this brand itself is starting to take another level. But one of the things that I was going to ask is, when you do get creator's block, is there any way of escaping that, or how do you deal with that?
So right now I'm kind of having a little creative block. So I am immersing myself into only New York music and movies. So that means
Okay,
any content coming into my head right now is only from New York. So
makes sense.
sometimes what I'll do is just say I'm inspired by basketball.
Hmm.
I'm only gonna watch basketball. I'm only gonna listen to this kind of music, or I'm only gonna do that. Or just say
Hell yeah.
um I'm not gonna say I need media to inspire me. Sometimes it's like, just say if I'm inspired by a certain outside area or architecture,
Hmm.
I'm gonna do a lot of research on that. I'm gonna read a book on it. I'm really inspired by food a lot.
Right.
So I'll watch a lot of food shows, or I'll watch a lot of stuff like that. So I'll try to immerse myself in a world or a place that I want to be in. Sometimes I travel and I'll stay in that place to get
Holy shit.
into um, a creative space.
Okay. That's actually one of the, because you have there's always going to be different methods. That's one of the first ones that I've heard. Usually it's kind of just like I step away from it from a little bit, or I push myself through it. But I don't think there is a way of pushing yourself through it, because you try to, and then you create something and you look at it, you're like, this is just terrible. Let me
Yep.
stop. So how, what do is there like a period on, like, on how long, like the longest one, or are they usually around the same time, or is there no t- like time factor in that? It just happens and it comes and it goes as it pleases.
It happens and it goes and it comes as it pleases, because
Okay, I
you
figured, yeah.
never know. Sometimes I'll recreate designs that I
Right.
never had the money to make before,
Okay,
or the I think my manufacturer gets better as I work with him as well. So then that
that's
opens
good.
up my mind to different silhouettes that he can make. The difference between me and all of these other brands is that I have custom silhouettes.
Ooh,
I'm
what's a
not just
silhouette?
fitting on your t-shirt. I'm not.
A silhouette is like what is that
A
exactly?
silhouette is the shape of the clothing. So like, I'm not buying wholesale and slapping something on, as in like, I'm not buying 50 t-shirts and just slapping a logo on it.
Throwing on a
I'm
little
not
logo
buying I'm not buying 50 hoodies and just slapping a logo on it. Everything is made straight up.
and thought of more than just, oh, this logo looks hard. Let me throw that on a shirt. Because
Yep.
if it's one thing that I cannot stand, like I love supporting businesses. I absolutely love supporting small businesses, especially when it's people that I know and when it's local. But if it's one thing I can't stand, is when somebody tries to sell me a shirt that's ironed on, that's like fucking ironed on, printed, if you know what I mean. Because 3 days, I wear that bitch 3 times. That motherfucking logo that you put all your work into is now peeling, and I cannot stand my clothing when it peels, because after the third wash, and you're not really supposed to dry those type of clothing, but if you forget and accidentally throw that motherfucker in the dryer, you're screwed. Iron-ons piss me off. I did not see that on your brand, so I was just like, Stitch. Anybody who's doing stitch work, I'm more focused on what you got going on, because yeah, it might tear, but that's if that motherfucker tears. You know what I mean? Like, a tear is less uh likely than me washing my clothing and the logo wearing off over time, because it
Yep.
was made by a cheap manufacturer, if that's who it's being made by. Because it's so easy. It is. I could get this remote, Photoshop it onto a t-shirt and sell it. That is how easy it is. But when you have your mentality, somebody who truly loves to create, they see that as kind of, I don't think it's offensive. I wouldn't say it's offensive, but I feel like you would see that and just be like, no, because that's not like genuine. Yours is genuine. The entire thing is. So like, I feel like that's, like you were saying, that's another thing that sets you apart from them. Because like I said, a lot of people think that because of the fact that they could come up with good logos, or like one or two logos, and just put that on a shirt and sell it, they think that they could really do it in this world. But they're not talking what you're talking. They're not talking about teams. to them, they're like, team, I don't need no team. That's too much money. If you're not thinking about that, you might not be even in the right direction, because if you're selling things and you really want to take it to the next level, I don't think I know any business person who has a big business right now and did it by themselves. Unless it was like, I don't know if that's even possible.
Nobody
It
does.
just seems,
Nobody
it seems crazy. Like, it genuinely seems crazy to try.
There's no way you're making money and it's just you at a large scale in the fashion world.
Exactly. Like, in the fashion world, oof. Would you what are they called? Runways? Would you be excited to do one of those, or is that not even in your thought process? Because I'm not too sure. Hell,
yes.
Is that something that what is a runway exactly? Is that like a place where the fashion designers exhibit their clothing, or?
So runway is a type of, really, runway is considered a type of modeling. That means you're walking down the runway, but really only high-end, high fashion. I'm not even going to say only high fashion brands. More brands, as in Supreme will do fashion shows. The goal is to get to New York Fashion Week. Okay. To have your own show at New York Fashion Week. But since Kanye's done that standalone show a couple years ago, you can also do standing shows more as exhibits.
And build up your own type of platform. Yeah.
Well, the model industry is really old. When you think about Ralph Lauren and Gucci, although that's old white money, that's old tobacco money, that's old slave money.
And now we're starting to finally understand that. So I feel like the world's starting to kind of turn the tide on all these high-end brands that don't really.
Let me tell you, this is what's about to happen in the next 10 years. Mark my words, you're going to watch this interview. Once you're big, you're going to watch it later.
Trust me, I will.
Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom's, Macy's, JCPenney, all of your big department stores will be done in the next 10 years. You're going to keep your Macy's and your Nordstrom's around, that's fine. Forever 21's, your fast fashion will be done in a couple years as well. It will be considered something childish. We're going back to urban fashion. I'm dressed in fucking Echo Red from head to toe. We're going back to that. Okay. Supreme just sold out to another company who's going to make them trash. All that shit, 10 deep trash, all that shit is done. It's done. We're done with it. We're done with Zoomies. We're done with Tilly's. We're done with those.
I've been done with Zoomies and Tilly's.
We're not shopping anymore. We're not going in the store anymore. So everybody
online.
Everything's online, and if there's so much media, there's so much t-shirt printing, there's so much of that shit that all that shit's dead. In the next 10 years, you're gonna see a lot of these brands diminish, sell off, be done. From all these little shits, they're gonna be done. All the cheap clothes, we're gonna be over it. People are gonna be very brand loyal again, and the small business, the small designers, as those, we're moving in. We're moving in.
And the ones who share the mentality that you have are going to be the ones who make it. Because like I said, you have those who call themselves small businesses because they slap logos on shirts. But then you have those who truly love what they do, and that's you. So like someone like you who could truly go in depth about fashion and really feel so passionate about it is like, I feel like I'm talking to somebody who, in 10 years, it's going to be really hard to try to get in contact with you because you're going to have so much shit going on. I'm just glad I caught you when I caught you. That is one thing I'm really proud of. But one thing it's not often where I get to sit here and have a conversation. No, you're good. It's not often where no, you're good. I think I don't know. You were listening to his song one day. I think I was watching your little live stream runway thing where you were having people just kind of like step up in the camera a little bit and show off what they were wearing. I heard you playing one of my homie's songs. His name's Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you listen to that, and I was like, hold the fuck up. And then I seen that he was following. I was like, not a lot of people that I follow followed you, and I loved that because I was like, cool. That means nobody's gonna be expecting me to work with this one. And then I see the followers, and I was just like, oh fuck, wait a minute, okay, I'm low-key intimidated now because I don't know if she's gonna take me serious enough. I don't got shit to offer really other than just a conversation. At the end of the day, that's what I know about this interview. So when people do tell me no, I don't blame them because it's one of those things where if you don't see the beauty in it, you're gonna see it as, oh, that's just a waste of time. But I feel like if you truly love to do what you do, this is kind of like a no-brainer because of what you could do with it advertising wise. But it's like, who wouldn't want a chance to truly just talk about what they love to talk about at the end of the day? If you're passionate about it, I feel like you're gonna take every opportunity you get. And just doing this, working with you, like I said, I was a little scared that you were gonna say no because you could have been really busy. You could have been seeing. You could have looked at my follower count and be like, no. You could look at my brand and just be like, it's just not there yet. I'm cool on that. The fact that you even took the time out of your day to do this is one of the things I'm always going to respect because, like I said, I can see the vision that you have. And it's more than just a vision, it's execution. Because you could dream all you want, you could visualize all you want, and you could think all you want. But if you're not executing on it, the way that you're thinking about it and the way that you're dreaming about it, it don't mean a damn thing. And that's one of the things that sets you apart. And that's why I bring Alex. That's what I bring Alex up for. He's one of those dudes who truly, 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 truly loves creating music. And when I was working with him, it was like sitting down with him. I'm like, this dude, like, just keep doing what the fuck you're doing, guys, because at the end of the day, don't get like, and the thing is, I don't even think you guys would get discouraged on like when the numbers aren't there. Because like you said, to you, it's not about the money. Because if it was, it would distract you. Because then you would be distracted by the fact that, oh fuck, we didn't sell as much this week as we this year, this collection as we did last collection. How do I change that? Okay, just make better fucking shit next time. That's what you would have to tell yourself. But somebody who doesn't see it that way and doesn't care about what they make, they're gonna see it as, I gotta advertise better or I gotta do this better. No, at the end of the day, sometimes it just might be the timing or create better shit sometimes. But I don't know if
Will
that's a
you
problem
hold for 1 second?
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm glad that you even acknowledge that. Some people will just say F it and let their dog pee on the floor and then get mad at the dog.
I'm trying to get her. She's starting to come to me and letting me know more. Mm-hmm. So if I ignore her, she's going to stop coming to me. So she came to the door and started crying. And I'm like, good. That's what I like.
I fuck with that. You're training that dog well then because I was talking about Alex, I believe. So just one of the things, the comparison I could see in you guys is that you're just so passionate about what you create. And that's what makes it easy for me to have these conversations with you guys, because it's just like, at the end of the day, I just want to see what not motivates that, but just kind of, like I say perfectly on my website, just picking the minds of these young geniuses because they're so young. A lot of these young geniuses don't have the chance to really show the world how great their minds work. And I know that sounds weird and that might sound a little bit different, but to me, I'm like, people think, obviously everybody has a different thought process and everybody thinks differently, but those people who think passionately about what they do and at the end of the day, it's a risk to invest your hard-earned money into something that potentially might not work.
Yes.
But it's only not going to work if you don't have the mentality to like make it work.
Yes.
But when you're good at it, when you got the talent, but you also got the drive to match that talent, it's over. And that's what you guys have. You guys got that talent, but you also got that work ethic behind it. And the thing that wraps it all up, the passion. Passion is like, if you care about what you create, you're gonna keep creating. If you don't care about what you're trying to create, you're gonna meet a lot of obstacles that you cannot overcome. That's what my problem was with the shoes. That's one thing I taught myself. I was like, I'm not passionate about creating shoes. I'll do it every now and then, but I feel like if somebody offered me to like pay me $200 to do their shoe, I'm probably not going to do a good job because I don't care enough about that part. So that's just what I see from you guys from the gate. That's just, it was just crazy seeing you listen to somebody who I seen like with passion. It was just like, this is just like the picture perfect moment for me. This is awesome. So I'm just, like I said, grateful that because not a lot of people are going to want to sit here and do Zoom interviews. I really freaking wish I was able to do the in-person interview, but unfortunately I did just get the freaking virus. So I don't want to expose anybody to that in any sense of the way. So I said, let's do these Zoom meetings. How about that? Because Zoom offered like that was the mentality behind it. But I was like, the conversation that we would have in person is not going to be any different than the conversation we would have over the phone. At the end of the day, I'm not doing it for just the interview. I want you guys. I want to see what you got, how you guys are, what you guys are passionate about, what makes you guys you. Because one of my things that I want to be big on is the word be you. Be yourself, be the best version of yourself, just being yourself. And that's people like you and Alex, when you guys are being yourselves, it makes it a lot easier to create the content that you guys create or create whatever it is that you guys are creating. In your case, this is fashion. You are creating, to me, fashion is big because you're almost creating a culture for people.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, because Kanye made Yeezys. He created like a whole culture of, I'm sorry to say this, hype beasts. He created that culture because if he never created Yeezys, those hype beasts would have been somewhere else, obviously. But he created his own world of hype beasts because people are paying damn near $700 to resell his shoe, to get his shoes and resell them for $1,400. I don't know if that's actually the case or not, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's just it's just crazy to be able to, you know, have these conversations with you guys at such a young age, such an early part of your guys' career.
Yes.
I had a question in here that I wanted to ask. What when did you truly see the potential in it, or did you always have confidence in what you were going to do when you started doing your fashion stuff, fashion designing?
I think I truly saw the potential when I made these windbreakers, and
Mm-hmm.
that was the first point. I'm going to tell you when I saw it in my design and when I saw it in my company as a whole. So when
Okay.
I saw it in the design is when I made these windbreakers, and when I made
Mm-hmm.
those hockey jerseys before the windbreakers, nobody bought any. I think one person bought one. Shout out to Shauna Jones. She bought the first
Hey.
one. But other than like family and a couple of my close friends, I didn't sell any. So I was a little down
Okay.
because in my head I'm thinking, oh, I'm about to sell out first day. I'm just on it. Didn't
As you should
sell a
be.
damn thing. And so
Humble
I
and
came back around like 3-4 months later, and I dropped these windbreakers. And that's when I first started actually getting people like resonating with the designs, wanting
right.
it, liking the look. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that was the first thing that showed me that I could design. And I feel like when it came to business, like when it came to like me as a creative,
Right.
it's when I started making like more films. I felt like once I started adding the video concepts and stuff, I knew that I was a quality creator. And that's why I consider myself the creative director of Wood Morning and not just the owner or the designer, because I push
That's
everything
new.
in a creative direction.
Okay.
So once I started doing like videos and films and stuff, that's when I knew creatively I could produce and build an image around Wood Morning. And I think
Mm-hmm.
this last collection was when I knew that I could be just as big as any other brand. And that's new.
That
So
is
this
awesome.
collection was the first, this new collection, the way I've been running my business the last 6 months has showed me
Right.
that it's very possible for me to be one of the biggest high-end brands in the world.
I fucking love that, because now I just feel like you just have to keep doing that exactly. That process that took that 6 month process, you just do that, and then eventually you're gonna get better at it, and then you start making more money, and now people want to come work for you instead of you having to go look for the people to code. Because I feel like if you, I learned that I think it was a dude named Steve Wozniak, one of the co-founders of Apple, said that no genius leaves their door closed, because you're missing out on a chance to have somebody who could offer some help and that help could be very beneficial. You always want to be able to have that availability to for them to be able to help. But
Yes.
I'm pretty upset with myself because there was a very good. You were talking about how you were good at making films. Now marketing doesn't really have much to do with this. Obviously, you're going to do marketing because you're selling something and you want to market that. But the book that I'm reading right now, literally, it breaks everything down. Marketing is storytelling, and you just got done saying that you were doing films, which is storytelling at the end of the day. So you understanding the world of storytelling probably makes it really easy for you to articulate your story into your brand. Would you say that, or is that overthought?
So anytime I create a video or I create a collection, there's a full concept, a full circle concept, which is a
Okay.
story. And I think what
Yep.
separates me from other brands is outside of my brand story and how I started with Morning, every collection is its own story. So I keep
That's
it
pretty awesome.
fresh. I'm a creator. I keep it fresh, and I know how to put a vision with something and a story together It's like a new chapter to the story every single time instead of the same story every time.
Exactly.
And I think you look at some brands now who used to be steamrollers, Obey, for a great example.
I'll never above millions.
I just think about Obey when they used to have the red and black.
Oh,
the
God,
propaganda.
I remember those days. I remember those damn days. I couldn't
afford
them.
What happened with Obey was they stopped telling the story. They stopped recreating new stories. And
I
that's
figured because would you say it got boring?
That's the downfall of all these companies.
They do the same thing. Like they tell the same story and they don't try to spice it up a little bit. You know what? That is very true. Because at the end of the day, they were a trend and that trend died. And had they, oh my God, that is actually very fucking true. I'm glad you said that because the way you just broke that down makes me understand that now. Okay, say less. Because had they been good at telling stories, their story would have still been told. It wouldn't have been a downfall.
Because just think about Stussy. Stussy tells a story, and that's why Stussy is still relevant to this day.
Exactly.
People I think like I just Supreme, seen. Yep. I think Supreme. I hate when people say this, but I truly do think Supreme bit Stussy. I think Supreme bit off Stussy.
I've never liked Supreme. I never liked the idea of one big white shirt with a red logo for about $50.
I think Stussy has always been able to tell a story of the underdog, and I think Supreme took some of those little stories and at first was able to give us a little bit of a story, but now it's just hot. It's just expensive clothes.
It's sad though, because literally I feel like social media, it was a big part in what they became. If it wasn't for social media hyping up Supreme, I remember seeing Obama, that meme of Obama in a Supreme shirt, or I don't even know if it was me. He could have been actually in a Supreme shirt. It's shit like that gives them more money. And you're just looking at it like they're getting free marketing and they don't even deserve it. Like that shit probably might be one of the most annoying things because Stussy has low-key always been one of those brands where they weren't seen as bigger than Supreme, but they've always had clothes that look better than, like they have variety. Supreme, to me, they were selling Oreos with fucking a Supreme logo on it. Okay, perfect example. You got Stussy selling a variety of clothing, and then you have Supreme selling fire extinguishers or flamethrowers.
A brick
with a Supreme logo embedded into it for $300. And people bought that because they knew that if they did and posted on social media, they would get attention for that. It's sad that it sucks that social media could do that, but if it's doing that for your brand, it's like, yo, I ain't gonna be too mad at it. It's just I feel like if you're in control of what the media gets to see your brand as, you are completely in control of where this brand goes. But if social media is setting the trends for your brand, you have zero control on where it's going to be. And I feel like that's exactly what happened with Supreme. They were just they were like the biggest hype beasts. Like I said, I've never been a fan of them. I'm glad that we're bashing them right now. I really am, because I can't stand Supreme. I hated the idea of that red logo on a small ass logo on a white shirt.
And the thing is, I'm not gonna say they haven't had some good designs. I've most definitely seen some shit where I've been like, that's hot. But it's the hype beast shit around it. It's the price tag. And not saying you shouldn't be able to charge. You should be able to charge whatever you want as a brand. I don't like to pocket block. I get it. I get it. And if people are buying as a business, I get it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. I'm not hating on Supreme in any way. It's just more of a personal preference on, I like the underdog. And I feel like they were never the underdog because of the hype beast. And the hype beast don't get no respect in my book.
At all, because it's like you're overpricing something that really doesn't hold a lot of value in general. So it's just like Apple, they're in control of how much and how much a phone is worth at this point. Apple is the biggest phone in the world. The iPhone is the biggest phone in the world. So I feel like because of that, they get to set the tone on how valuable a phone is, how much a phone costs. Apple sets that tone. They just got done selling earphones for $500. they get to now they get to set the tone on the best earphones, so they get to own that because they're Apple. Now
Yeah.
it's like, is Apple really that good, and do they deserve that? Because then, to people who use Androids and to real tech users, they feel that same way about Apple. They're like, they're overpricing. Perfect example. I put together a computer that was because you know how people build their own computers.
Yeah.
I did that. I with specs, and then I built a computer through Apple because you could basically customize all the things that you put in the computer. Do the price comparison with a monitor from Apple and the computer from Apple. Specs are the exact same. For the computer and the monitor isn't going to be the same price because they're two different monitors, but $17,000 for Apple, 17 grand for a computer with the same specs of this computer, which ended up being 3 grand, $14,000 difference. To me, that's where like the Supreme thing is. I feel like it would be the same thing with Supreme. Let's say they had the option where you could customize how. Fuck that. You go buy a white T-shirt and a bag and a package of Oreos. That's gonna cost you $12. You do that on Supreme, it's gonna cost you $112 because
Yeah.
it's Supreme, and for some reason they can just run with that.
But people are
Let's
brand
just
loyal. People are brand loyal, so they'll pay, like you said. You pay for that jersey, so people who love Supreme are gonna pay for that.
That's true. That is very true. So then, would you say that do you see them lasting, or do you think that's going to finally be a dying thing? Because I still don't, at this point, I don't think Supremes where they were like in 2016, 2015, because I feel like 2015 to 2017 were their prime years in recent eras.
I think because they just sold off to this bigger corporation, I do not think that they're going to have the same creative direction they had before. I think the company is going to come in and want to just pump out a lot of units, make a lot of money.
Because it's Supreme.
Usually when companies sell out, and not even that they sold out, they sold for a great price. Shout out to those boys for building that shit up and selling for a phenomenal price that's going to set them up to make another brand later, which is probably what they'll do.
Exactly.
But usually what happens is when they sell, they take their creative people and they go on to a new project. And then this big corporation sees it as, we just want your clientele to make money off of, which means the quality of clothing will probably go down. Price will continue to stay where it's at. It happens to a lot of brands. We see it every day.
Because now passion isn't really there anymore. It's more money hungry. So speaking of, no, that's actually has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Do you have any designers that you looked up to, fashion designers that you looked up to, where you kind of looked in and was like, yo, they are a big inspiration in what I get to do? Not in your looks, but kind of just that motivating feeling you get from them.
I'm a Kanye West fan of music. I don't really care for Yeezy attire, but he has inspired me in the clothing business in general. I'm a big fan of, you should check out Pyre Moss. He's a New York designer that I really love, Black Eye. Extremely creative. Jerry Lorenzo, of Fear of God. Another huge brand that's booming right now. He's been a big inspiration.
I knew that brand was big when they were on. I would go in because there was. I'm pretty sure you've played 2K before. You go into the park. There's a park. There's a Foot Locker in there, and there's like a thing there's like a shoe brand, and it's like a series, and it says a Fear of God. I was like, never seen that a day in my life. Continue.
Fear of God. I am a fan of Virgil and Off-White. But to a certain extent, I'm a fan of Virgil as a designer. I don't know where he's going next, but and I don't know how.
Isn't he?
I'm worried about Virgil's motives, I guess. But Virgil is a big inspiration for me too with Off-White, so I won't even. That's a whole nother conversation. I'm hugely inspired by sports attire. So Nike,
like Mitchell and Ness.
Adidas, Jordan, New Balance, any athletic attire.
Where? Right. Okay.
But I will say Pyre Moss, Jerry Lorenzo, Virgil. Those are some of my biggest inspirations right there for sure.
Awesome. And then, was there one of those people like before you really started doing it yourself? Like you would always like were any of them early on in your young career, like before you started doing it, or were they all along the way?
So let me rephrase that question. Those are the people that inspire me right now, but as I was starting, they were coming up too. So it wasn't really
okay.
like they didn't inspire me as a child, but if we can go back to what inspired me for clothing as a child, which is like Rockaware, Sean John, Fat Farm, Echo Ray,
Yep.
Those brands, Kimora Lee Simmons, Russell Simmons,
I remember
JV,
that.
Diddy, Carl Kanai. We can even go back that way. Some of those designers are really what influenced me and still influence me to this day.
Right.
Wood Morning is a collaboration of old and new.
Right. Would you call that modern vintage?
We're taking vintage clothing that I used to always shop at Goodwill's. So vintage clothing, but when you buy vintage, when you buy old, it's worn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's worn. So I took classic designs going all the way back to the 60s and been inspired by old designs and then mixed them with new era, new high end.
Right.
So I'm taking my favorite features, my favorite aesthetics, and combining them with new aesthetics, new features, new colors, and blending them together.
Yep. And I think that you're doing actually a phenomenal job at that. I must say so myself. And I feel like this is where I'd be able to wrap it up, because I think about an hour and a half. That's what the Zoom call says. It says 2 hours, but that's because of the fact that I was just like, idle time right before.
It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah. So like I said, I want to really say thank you for giving me the time to be able to conduct this interview. This is like my first time talking fashion with somebody. So I apologize if I sounded like a rookie, because at the end of the day, I'm not a fashion dude. Awesome. I appreciate that very much. I was wondering though, this a year from now exactly. Obviously, you might not be able to get that exact date, but like I wanted to do a series of year from nows, just to see the progress. Would you be okay with that by any chance?
Yeah, you can always hit me up.
Yeah. I will. I have your number now, so I really appreciate this.
Well, because realistically, my goal, I'm from the AV. You're from the AV.
Right. Yep.
I just like Alex. I saw your profile, and it wasn't that I wasn't gonna work with you, but I'm like, who does he know that I know? And then I watched your interview with Alex, and I was like, okay, this dude isn't just some random guy who kind of moved to the AV. He's from the AV. So
I grew up here.
I put on for the city. So if you're putting on for the city and you love your city, then we can always have an interview.
I respect that because for me, one of the first things that I notice is that like we have rappers and we have artistic minds, but we don't have a place where these people are all kind of coming together and doing just that. Because the more we work, like you said, it's all about collaborations. The more like the people who really like the winners. You have your winners, and I'm not going to call these people losers, but you have your winners who truly, truly, truly. I hold a very high standard for artistic features and creators. So if I see somebody like you or Alex, I see passion, right? So those are the people I want to collab with on the go, because these are the ones who are truly, truly trying to build something. So I'm like, I feel like this is just like, if we could not find a way, but like, just have those times where we could work together and just try my best to build a platform so that when people, like in 10 years, if Suzy Productions is where I expect it to be, in 10 years, we're going to have kids who are just like us trying to make it. But I want to always have access to these kids from the AV who are trying to make music, because I always want to be able to have them, give them a platform here. But I'm not going to give you this platform unless you truly have it in you to want to do this, because people say it all the time. They'll put their work out and they'll do their work, but they don't actually feel that shit. And I went through that myself. That's how I know. That's how it's easy for me to tell, okay, who's really about it and who's not. Who's really, whoever's doing a Zoom interview with a random person they know from the AV, I respect the fact that you're doing it because you want to put up for your city. But like realistically, a lot of people are looking at this and they're like, it's just a little phone call. It's not that big of a deal to me. So they're gonna just blow it off like it's nothing. You didn't. You really put I respect the fact that you gave me 2 hours of your day basically to do this, because Alex did the same thing. And it's like when I'm working with you people, I'm like, to me, you guys are the ones who are going to make it, because you guys are the ones who truly care about what the hell you're doing. And you guys are not easy to find. Trust me, I've been looking, and you guys are not easy to find. These people they say that they are real and they say that they're doing it, but they're doing it because they want money, because they want to say that they did it. You guys aren't, and that's what separates you guys. So I just wanted to say that, let that be the last piece. And thank you again for doing this. And in all honesty, I cannot wait to see what you have in store for the world, because I know that you are going to be on to great things. Any goals for the new year? Any just goals that you have for yourself or for the business itself?
Goals to continue to make quality clothing. I want my Instagram to bust something. I need people to start following that, clicking up on that.
I got that.
So really, if I can set some goals right now, I need at least 500 to 1,000 more followers on my Instagram the next year, and that's a goal of mine.
I think you're setting the bar way too low, because I think you're gonna earn more than that. But being humble, I respect that, because I genuinely think you're gonna triple those numbers by the end of the year.
I try to keep it low key, you know?
Yep, I feel that. I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. But like I said, I appreciate your time, and I will definitely be looking forward to getting in contact with you. If there's anything that, I know I can't really offer much, but if there's anything that you may see me perfect for, let me know. I will be more than glad to help you out with whatever it is you guys need.
Just spread the word. You know, people looking
I'm
for
trying. Trust me, I will.
You see the homies who need some new clothes, or I got a video shoot, I got this and that, send them my way.
I already got your website in my notes. Don't even worry about it. Trust me. One thing I would suggest looking into, there's like these little cars that are starting to come about more. You know what a QR code is, right?
Yep.
One of those it's kind of like the same thing, but they're coming out with these tapped cards where you basically have a link connected to this card, right? And you just literally tap it to the back of somebody's phone, and their phone, unlocked or not, straight goes to that website. And It's just so quickly. You don't have to pull out your camera. You don't have to do all these extra steps. It's just, I will. Trust me. I got you. So yeah, just I would suggest looking into stuff like that, because it's just like, bam, call it a day. And you only need one card, unless you have a team. You want to give them theirs, but that's just down the line. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate your time. Keep doing what you're doing, and I can't wait to see what you shock the world with within the next few years. Keep doing what you're doing, okay?
Thank you, man, and hey, get better.
I will. Trust me.
I will. Man.
This is what's helping me get better. So I appreciate this. All right. No, so thank you again, and keep doing what you're doing, okay?
All right, man.
All right, yo. All right. And now this is where it gets awkward, where we both come and hang up.
We're like,
All right, then, yo.